city of East Brickton is widely recognized for its large collection of gang culture. With a big cluster of gangs in such a small area, war between them was inevitable. East Brickton would soon see a large rise in gang violence on its streets. Today, we cover the war between the previously mentioned East Brickton Gangster Crips, 214 Bedford families, and Whiling Pirus. Before we are able to understand the beef, however, we must first know who the gangs were. The Gangster Crips spread to East Brickton under Hussein Irving on York Street and Kent Avenue. What used to be one set eventually turned into three major sets all over East Brickton. These included the York Gangster Crips, 50 Clocks, and 47 Gangster Crips. Members of EBGC were involved in numerous crimes such as murder and narcotic distribution. 214 Bedford Families was originally a clique of teenagers who broke off from the previously covered Broadway Shadows after an argument about leadership. This clique eventually ended up being made up of 59 Primetime and McFarlane Brim members after multiple members flipped while in prison and such, creating it as their own sanctioned set within the city. The Whiling Pirus used to populate the northern west side of East Brickton until a number of their OGs were either arrested or killed. As time went by, the set was on the verge of extinction. The murder of OG Big Trippin', also known as Edgar Porter, by the East Brickton Gangster Crips, however, sparked the return of Whiling. They were now strictly EBGC killer and ready to settle the score. The beef with EBGC and 214 ties in with the story of the Broadway Shadows. After leaving the group, Elijah Hopkins began working with Bloxer Kingpin Bobby Brown. Elijah officially turned 214 after hearing about the murder of another former BWS member, Devontae Fox, by the Gangster Crips.
Somebody help me.
What the public didn't know at the time was that Devontae Fox's murderers, 50 Clocks Bobby Drayton and York Gangster Crip Markel Bush, were actually his friends. After apparently flipping sets 3 times, Devontae, or better known as Von, angered his fellow EBGC members who believed he was sneak dissing them too. Elijah and the rest of 214 took this as an act of war because of their relationship with Von. The two factions would soon go to war with bodies dropping left and right.
Look, lights out, It's a sick link. Always a bit on my hip. I don't make, but I see Crips. And I be bullying with blood. You do not want to see blood.
After weeks of endless fighting, the war between EBGC and 214 changed when 214's Elijah Hopkins was gunned down by not the Gangster Crips, but by suspected Whiling members. Whiling, who had already established their beef with EBGC, started to focus fire on 214. The beef between 214 and Whiling further intensified, while the beef between EBGC and 214 halted. The two gangs agreed to a mutual ceasefire in order to push back the Pirus, who were already taking lives and dominating both the blower and gun market. 7 Gangster Crips kidnapped the Pirus Javon Carter and robbed him. Carter got revenge the next day, shooting at unarmed Crips and then poking 47's leader 3 days later. On January 14th, Y-Lane's Javon Carter released a 214 diss track where he revealed the death of Tavon Washington, a member from 214.
For real, I'm not on no team, but my niggas in the field. If you claim 214, then you might just get killed. Ask Tavon, he'll tell you how it feel.
This just in. A man by the name of Tavon Washington was shot dead in the Broadway apartments. There was an officer on the scene and he witnessed the murder, and it led to a shootout with police. Eyewitnesses say Tavon was trying to enter his friend's home while he was gunned down outside by a masked man.
I'm high as fuck, smoking tape pack, but you know I'm geek. How the fuck you let your mans out while you asleep?
After constant pressure from the Crips and Brims, Y-Lane folded and lost its power. Once their mutual enemy was taken down, EBGC and 214 resumed fighting. Today, the gangs have been replaced by new ones born in the city, but the factions talked about today paved the way for new ones to take over the city. This has been the war in East Brickton. Stay tuned for more.